You know, it's kind of funny. Despite how many YouTube videos I've watched, really thought this would be a lot easier. But honestly, I'm nervous as hell about being in front of the camera. I never enjoyed it, but yeah. So today I'm going to be doing some baking, kind of. You don't really, there's no baking involved. You don't use an oven. It's just no-bake cookies, I guess you'd call it, and it's going to have an Easter theme to it, so stick around if you want to see. Okay, so here's what you'll need. Half a cup of butter, half a cup of milk. This recipe calls for 1.5 cups of sugar. I tend to use brown sugar, but today I'm using white, and I'm also going a little less than 1.5 cups because we're going to be using sweetened coconut in this. 1/4 cup of cocoa powder. Final ingredients are 2 cups of quick oats, 1.5 cups of coconut, and a beer. So naturally we're going to need a pot, and I'm going to be using this because. So first thing we need to do is melt the butter. Alright, so once it starts simmering, we're going to add the sugar, the milk, and the cocoa. Now we're going to let this simmer for a while just to make sure that everything gets completely dissolved and incorporated together. And going to keep moving it around because you don't want it to burn. You don't want to be too aggressive with it either, so just keep it on medium heat. Okay, it's been about 5 minutes now. As you can see, it's bubbling nice. I'd say it's ready to go. Now we have to take the mixture that we made on the stove and add it to the quick oats and coconut. I've already given it a quick mix just so it's already, halfway blended. From this point I'm going to switch over to a smaller utensil just to be able to get into the corners of the bowl easier. I'm just going to blend this all together. So at this point you want to move kind of quick and get the mix into the cups and start shaping them before it all cools and hardens. Just going to drop a little pile into each one for now. Now we want to try to shape them so they have a little concave in the middle. Of course, if you just want to make cookies, you can just flatten them in there, or you can drop them in piles on a cookie sheet. Alright, so I got that part done. I had to fast forward because it's a lot easier to do without a camera in your way, and I had to sacrifice a couple of piles just to fill up and flesh out the rest of them a little better. It's not perfect, but it'll have to do. And now I'm going to pop them in the fridge for about 20 minutes and then we'll get on to the next step. Alright, so after being in the fridge for a little bit, I took them out and they were unfortunately too firm to release from the tin. I'm sure there's better ways to avoid that sort of problem. I just don't like the idea of greasing the cups or something like that. I could have used paper liners as well, but I didn't want to take away from the look of them. So now that they've sat out for a bit and they're not so firmly stuck to the cups, I'm going to use toothpicks to work my way around each one. It's a little bit of a task, but I'll be able to pop them out without being broken or anything like that. Alright, well, that was a pain in the ass. Managed to get them all out, and I only have one that's kind of half broken, but I think setting them out here to dry is going to really help solidify them, right? Because the tops of them are dry. They're, you know, pretty, they're not nearly as moist as they are on the underside. So I've taken the wax paper off of the cookie sheet or the drying rack here so that the undersides can dry as well. And now we're going to go on to an additional stage. I didn't list those items before, so surprise. Yeah. Alright, so what I'm doing here, I'm just making a basic double boiler. Someday I'd like to get a proper one, but I don't have one yet. So I just have water in this pot. I'm going to put a plate on there, let that heat up, and just going to throw some chocolate chips on top. So what's going to happen, of course, water's going to heat up the plate. The plate's going to melt the chocolate chips, and then I'm going to take these eggs like this, and dip them into the melted chocolate, and then I'm going to set them into the nests over here. And I'll be back in a minute. Alright, so I had this heated up for a little bit, and as you can see, these things are completely melted. They still have their shape, but they're melted right through. So I will just move this over a little bit. Okay, so I'm just taking a little egg, just going to dip a little bit in there and set it into the nest like that. That's way too much. Now this is going to keep the eggs from falling out, especially if you have to transport them, if you're bringing them to somebody else's place for Easter dinner or whatnot. Alright, so here's a look at the finished product. Alright, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you taking the time to do that. And if you liked it, let me know. If you didn't, I hope you drew some sort of inspiration from it that you could apply to your own cooking or crafting or whatever it is you do. It's a fun thing that you can do with your kids. It's a simple recipe, and yeah, have fun with it. Thanks again. Bye. Half a cup of butter. Half a cup of butter. Half a cup of butter. Fuck. Fuck me. Okay, so now we have to add the... Alright, so now we have to take that mixture and add it to the oatmeal. Fuck. What the shit? How many times can I look in the same goddamn drawer?